Hey Dan, how you doing?
Hey, everybody. Wait a second. I see like a side of my face. I hope that's not what everybody else sees. But anyway.
You're good. The best side.
Yeah. Every side of me is my best side, which is pretty sad because, yeah. Anyway, welcome everybody to the AMA, the weekly shindig that we do. And, do not adjust your televisions. Joe, that is not Joe. This is not Joe. It's Joe's stunt double. It's Joe's stunt double that you know and love by the name of QX parentheses.
Yes. Do you know what QX means, Dan? You know where that came from?
Quality extreme.
No. QX is actually from this old-fashioned, dusty programming language that I use called Perl. QX is called a backtick. And what it does is it allows you to run system commands outside of program. Yeah. Allows you to run system commands outside of programming, and it returns the variable or the SD standard output. So QX I thought was appropriate for talking back and being spiky and spunky.
Ew. Yeah, you just reminded me. Perl, yuck.
Should I disconnect now, Dan?
Yep. Okay, guys. Okay, AMA over. I'm not going to talk to this guy anymore. Sorry. This just not going to happen. No, I'm just kidding. I will tolerate your pearlishness, for this thing that we do. Anyway,
Perl's like the duct tape of the utilitarian backend of servers, man. You can't deny that.
Oh God, I've been coding for the past 2 weeks, and like my head is just like, let's not talk about coding. I guess probably actually going to have to talk about coding because this is
All right, you start off, Dan. You start off. Let's hear what you got for today. Any updates?
Yeah, I do actually. Well, so we're continuing to work on the education course, and potentially we're going to be replicating the same curriculum in other jurisdictions. Now, again, this is still in the works, and
this was Zengate?
Well, no. This is an Ergo course. This is I'm doing this through Zengate, but this is an Ergo course. This is a beginner's course, actually. That we're doing with SWU in Bangkok. And we're also going to be actually cooperating with other universities. So we are going to be spreading this out. The only thing about it is that we might be delayed until not the full semester, but the new year. That is not on us. That is just the way the universities are, I guess, operating right now. But we're going to try to get it out sooner than that. But yeah, it's definitely going to be really good because we're going to have several places that are going to be, or eventually going to be, running these courses. Now, what I've also been starting to work on is a more dev-centric course. And I know that we have a lot of collateral for that, but we don't have a lot of cooperation from universities to do these courses, and this is what I've been working on is to get more technical universities, more technical schools to adopt these courses, so that we can actually start training some Ergo devs, and to kind of bring that particular echelon of people into the ecosystem as well. So also we're potentially going to be doing a little bit of promotion. This is still in the works in a few events in the next couple of months. Again, there's going to be Ergo centric. It's going to be exposing Ergo to some influencers. So that we can get some of these guys to start talking about Ergo and to kind of bring more people into the ecosystem. And also, I'm working a lot on some cross-chain initiatives, and mainly for facilitating those for Rosen. So I have opened conversations with Algorand. I've also opened conversations with Binance Smart Chain. And again, these are really early stages, and I'm not gonna disclose who I am working with, just that we are speaking to those ecosystems. And yeah, the goal here is to get those ecosystems to participate in Rosen and to basically work with us on that, because I think that's going to be a big one for us. Yeah, exchanges right now are a little bit on the slow side just due to the market and just, the reckoning that's coming from the SEC on the exchanges. I think they're going pretty much after everybody, it's just like a big Rolodex, who are we going to poke this week? So while that's happening, the exchanges are a little bit, unless you're like a VC pump and dump, they're not going to list you. If you are a VC pump and dump, they will list you, and then you're going to drop 70% in one day. And I'm not going to name names, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, yeah, that's about it from me. Well, Mr. Andre, should I call you Andre? Should I call you QX? I mean, I know some of you guys just
did you just dox me live, Dan? Oh my goodness.
I did. Sorry.
I'm just kidding. It's fine. QX is fine. My other names, I'm just giving you fun.
Oh, hey, look, I'm not into this whole, this thing that you kids do where you're like, yo, man, I'm a non, even though you've seen my face, I'm still a non, even though you've seen, it's like, guys, your parents gave you names for a reason. Use them. This is not the Matrix. You're not Neo. You're not, you're not Keanu Reeves. You
can call me Andre QX. How about that?
That sounds kind of like ChatGPT. So, okay.
Perfect. All right. So what's going on in our community? We have coming up in the Sigmanauts, if any of you guys follow the Sigmanauts in the community, we are setting up a multi-sig wallet. We've got a couple people that are interested in helping seed that. And of course, we're going to also probably ask the EF for maybe a seed as well once we get our shit together. Am I allowed to swear on this, Dan? I think I am.
Yes, I allow you.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Shit, yeah.
We're working on getting our voting mechanism on chain, and that's hopefully going to be finished this week. What else happens in the community? We have events coming up this week with it's called Blookit event. Ergo Minnow is hosting that, Tulo Ergo Minnow. That's pretty fun. We did it last couple of weeks ago. Essentially, you go on, you answer a ton of questions, and you're competing with a bunch of other people at the same time, and you can, prove to yourself that you're better than all those people. And this time there's some prizes that are involved with that, some NFTs that were donated. So that's pretty neat. What else? You want to talk about real quick about how crazy Sigmify was over the weekend? Some crazy bastard put up 2 loans for 100% interest. Were you watching that, Dan?
Yeah, it's pretty damn crazy. Who is that? Are you that bastard QX?
Am I that guy? You think I have that kind of bags, Dan? Do you think I have that kind of bags? I don't know, Dan. I don't know.
I don't know. Everybody's a non here. I have no idea what you guys are up to at all. Yeah. Like nobody. Like I have no idea. You guys might be whales. You might be sharks. You might be minnows. I have no clue.
Yeah, I mean, I could just have 10 erg in my bag and that's it. We'll never know.
Listen, I mean, okay, so one of the biggest kind of signs of wealth is an awesome crock pot behind you. Joe has that.
Joe does have a crock. He also has those pizza slabs too for his handmade pizza oven in his backyard. Have you been privileged to see Joe's backyard? He's taken some pictures of it and thrown it in chat. Absolutely gorgeous.
No,
the man is amazing.
I haven't gotten past the violators will be shot on sight sign. I have not gotten past that sign on his property yet. So no, I haven't.
Anyway, so Sigmify absolutely went crazy this weekend. It started off last weekend at about 30. I think 32 is the highest interest rate offered. And then somebody spiked it to 38 and it got online on Twitter. And a guy who's not even into crypto got it sent to him and started a nice thread. So I just want to say you guys in the Ergo community did a fantastic job of jumping on that and, correcting incorrectness and promoting Ergo at that point. So that was fantastic. Then after that, again, somebody threw in 100% interest rates, and that ticked off Twitter. Didn't tick it off, but that pumped up Twitter a little bit as well to get some eyes on that. Those got eaten up, I think within 5 minutes, Dan. I think you ate those up. Was that you that provided the Sigusd to those loans?
I did, yes. I just like to mess with the ecosystem once in a while. That's what I do. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to mess with you guys.
And then after that, you can see they slowly started ticking up, and we're at 50% interest, I think, for some of the recent offers now for 6,000 Sigusd. There's a 3,000 or a 2,000 for 50%. So it's really inching up, and I really think that shows. We have to assume that they're longing erg there. I think it might be. You could also say they're shorting it at that point with what they're doing, but I like to think they're longing it, Dan, and that everybody's pretty damn bullish about what erg's going to be in 12, 18 months when their Sigmify contract is up and they have to pay the piper.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, but it's really nice to see this nice DeFi buzz happening on Ergo, and Sigmify is definitely a cool platform to do that on. So I'm really happy to see that. Now, listen, I think maybe we should get to some questions, but although I think my connection here might be kind of delaying some questions. I don't know. I keep getting the spinning circle of death.
Well, your picture's good and your audio's great. So bring up a question. Let's hit it.
All right, let's try this. Well, let's try this one. See, I can't select them, unfortunately. Okay, well, so I'll say, and then Andy, our silent partner here, he'll select them. Okay, so here's a good one to start with from TC Montague. Dan is enjoying that cabin living. Yes, I am. I'm actually coming to you live from atop of a mountain in Wakayama. So yeah, just living the life up here with the moths and the bears and stuff. So this is the Zengate spiritual headquarters out here. So this is where I did the first video for Zengate, right out there. Actually, you can't see it because the camera isn't pointing that way, but trust me, it's out there. So that's it. All right, now let's get to some questions here. Okay, well, this is a nice question from Augustus Kent, who always has some nice questions for us. So do you think that Sigmify is the sort of thing that people that might use Rosen Bridge to come over to Erg for? Quality Extreme, why don't you take this one first and then I'll follow up.
You're asking for my opinion? Those are dangerous. Oh, goodness.
Well, just do it, man. Just come on. Just opinionize us.
I think any access to the Erg ecosystem is going to show once people. Oh, Dan just rugged us for a brief second. I think any access.
That's what I do.
I think any access like what Rosen Bridge is bringing to the Erg ecosystem shows us. I mean, if we look at just what happened alone in the Erg ecosystem from people who are so reluctant to give up their Erg and give up their tokens and offer them up on Sigmify, yet we still have, what is it? I think I just looked. It was 230,000 TVL on Sigmify. So if we take that number from what we know about the Ergo ecosystem, who's in it, and how tough it is to actually put your Ergo on the line and risk it, when we open up something like Rosen, where somebody can bring over some, I don't like to say wrapped, linked tokens, when they bring over something like that and offer up liquidity there on what Sigmify is, which is an amazing, simple peer-to-peer contract that is immutable and it's always there, always accessible. Even if Captain Nemo's website goes down, you can still find a dev to write that transaction for you to liquidate or pay back that loan, which is the beauty of Sigmify. So yes, I think Rosen Bridge is going to come in handy for bringing that liquidity over and people saying, wow, this doesn't really exist anywhere else. Where else can I lock money into a contract, not have to worry about price fluctuation with liquidation, and just pay it back or liquidate it at the end, kind of thing. So it's a different kind of concept than those other lending programs that you do have to watch out for, where you'll get liquidated halfway through if the price dumps or that kind of thing. So yeah, I do believe Rosen Bridge will help out with that. And once people come across the bridge and open their eyes and see what's in Ergo ecosystem, they're going to start utilizing that kind of stuff. You're muted, Dan. I can lip sync for you if you want to.
Well, I thought that our community is intelligent enough to be able to practice some telepathy. So I was speaking to you telepathically, except my lips were moving because I'm not very good at it just yet. So anyway, what I was trying to say to those who couldn't read my mind, Mr. QX, maybe. Anyway, yeah, I think Rosen is going to be just a game changer for the ecosystem. I think that it's a strong enough piece of technology to kind of, quell the naysayers, the ones that, because you do have, I mean, it's sort of like the Dunning-Kruger effect, you got a lot of people. I mean, some people have really valid arguments for bridges and kind of being cautious about using bridges because of hacks, because of this, because of that. But then there's a big group of people that kind of hear other people say that, and they think they understand why, but they don't. And so there you go with the Dunning-Kruger, it's just, it's like, oh, bridges, I'm not going to use any bridges. Like, why? Well, yeah. How long until Rosen gets hacked? I'm like, why? Okay, explain to me how it would get hacked. Explain to me. I mean, I'm not saying it's like super, it's like impossible, but explain to me how. And that's the thing, a lot of people just really kind of get scared by hearing other people talk about it. And then they just kind of really don't take the time to do their own research and to understand what they're talking about. But I think that the effectiveness of Rosen is going to change a lot of these people's minds, because the people that do know what they're talking about when they are cautious about bridges, they'll see the Rosen design and the Rosen architecture, and they will understand that this is superior to what's out there right now. The wormholes and all this different shit that got hacked and lost millions and billions. Yeah, so it's a very attractive piece of technology. It's actually something that I, again, I'm not here to shill you Zengate, but I am going to use it Zengate. I am, what we're actually thinking about, and I think I spoke about this before, is, and this is not right away, but eventually Palmyra is going to have a DeFi platform. So there's going to be, so there's 4 different archetypes, buyer, seller, trader, and DeFi user on Palmyra. And so DeFi is actually going to be real world assets, loans for real world assets. And so some of these loans I'm actually looking to get through DeFi. And so I think that using Rosen would create the opportunity to bring liquidity from other chains to Ergo, because the core DeFi is going to be built on Ergo and Cardano, but mostly on Ergo. Yeah, it's just going to bring that liquidity over, and that's actually going to give the ability for people to go between chains, between Cardano and Ergo, between Ergo and BNB, between Ergo and Algorand, and just to be able to utilize that opportunity for being able to extend loans, not just extend loans to other people who are looking for loans to buy crypto with, so they can make more crypto and pay back loans, and they can take out more loans to buy more crypto, and then crypto go up and they pay off. You know how it is. It's like, sloshing liquidity back and forth. But to actually bring real world use cases to this stuff, because that's what it's really all about. I mean, it's
Dan, did you rug or did I rug? Dan rugged. Oh, great. All right. Looks like we'll stare at his picture for a second. Let's continue with oh, there he is. He's coming back. Well, he can cut me off. So Oh, there you're back, Dan. I wanted to interject though while you were frozen that with these real purpose loans that you're speaking of, if anybody was checking out the chats over the week, they'd see that Kushti did through the back end of with the Excel framework, put a loan to a cooperative for I think 1,000 SigUSD was it in Kenya. So once again, that's
right. That's right. I saw that. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. I was going on this really, really nice rant, and obviously you didn't hear me, right? I just thought that you were like really like just captivated by what I was saying, but you were just so like silent and still, and I just got rocked by the connection, and it's just now I'm really I don't even know if I can just continue this podcast right now because I'm hurt.
Maybe a mountain goat stepped on the internet cable on the way up or something.
Yeah. My cat ate my modem. Yeah. Well, I mean, basically, yeah. That's you got the gist of it. I think what you didn't hear is what I was saying is that DeFi right now is in its infancy, just like blockchain movement in general. We're still in our infancy. And what we really have to think about is, what is the average person going to care about? Not people like us who know about DeFi, who know about decentralization, who know about blockchain stuff, but the average person, the average, I always, and again, this is not I wish that I had a better example. Bring up Visa. Does the average Visa user care about how the network runs? It's like, no, they don't. They just care that they can pay stuff with it.
And that's really kind of where we got to think about. Or their miles.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this, the average Visa user doesn't give a shit about how many transactions per second the Visa network can handle, and it can actually handle a lot. They just care about where it's accepted, how they can use it, how they can get miles with it, how they can get, all these different things that the average person cares about.
Well, funny thing to interject there, Dan. Correlating that between TPS and Ergo and other things, a lot of people don't realize that even credit card transactions are rolled up essentially from another layer. So you can have that authentication and verification method during the day, and then at the nighttime, they'll push 20, 30,000 transactions all at once through their processor, which is a lot cheaper than banging them individually out during the day. So this is not a foreign thing for those kind of slow Visa block times as far as that kind of roll up. So sorry, I just wanted to add that little nugget of tidbit.
No, that's a great, that's a great point. That is a great point. And yeah, I mean, of course, we're here to say boo to fiat and not be controlled by the banks and not be controlled by credit cards and all that good stuff. But really, you got to think about it. I mean, you don't want to reinvent the wheel here, and you got to think about this stuff. I mean, we are talking about finances. What is one of the closest things? Well, if you're talking about payment system, talking about payment rails, I mean, that's payment rails. How do those payment rails work? I mean, they obviously work because a shitload of people use them since the 60s. So they obviously work. How do they work? What works? What doesn't? What does the average person care about? Because I mean, sooner or later, those are going to be the users, not guys like us. Guys like us, yeah, I mean, there's also going to be guys like us, but the average user is going to be the average Visa user. The person that goes and pays with their Visa at the gas station or whatever, So, yeah, we got to think about that, and we got to really start structuring our like what Kushti did, that is what we need to go for. That's it. That's it. I mean, sloshing liquidity back and forth, it just kind of gets old after a while. Buying crypto to buy more crypto, to buy more loan, to get more loans, to buy more crypto, to sell more. It's just, come on, sooner or later it just becomes comical. But if you actually start using it for real world use cases, if we start being able to give, say, loans, short-term loans, DeFi loans to tea growers in Sri Lanka and help them get better access to capital and not have to pay 30% to the bank, which is what the interest rate is over there. I mean, that will actually help somebody. They'll help somebody that is doing business that is not a DeFi guru, but that is somebody who can benefit from DeFi.
And I just want to add some more, Dan, that, Sigmify, even though a lot of people are going long and probably sloshing, as you say, and increasing their ERG bags by collateralizing and leveraging their ERG and buying more ERG with Sigusd, that's also a legitimate platform for other things too. So you could take out a loan for, put up 6,000 of your ERG for collateral, get out some Sigusd, do a calculation in your head where you say, okay, if I've chosen 30% interest and I think ERG's still going to go up, I'm going to take the $8,000 in Sigusd cash that I have. I'm going to cash out 5,000 of that and use that for a personal loan in real life to buy a car, to buy a fridge, to buy whatever. I'm going to leave that extra $2,000 in as ERG and hope that ERG appreciates to pay back my interest. So you can essentially cash out some, use it for a real world asset on your own for something you wouldn't want to go to the bank for or utilize, leverage your ERG for. And then also utilize that degen kind of factor where you're leveraging whatever ERG you left in to make up for that interest payment that you're doing. So all you essentially have to pay back at the end is what you've borrowed or whatever your calculation is there. So yeah, Sigmify has lots of uses there as far as they can integrate with in real life.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, listen, we got a question here from Hash It Out with Cecil. Yeah, Cecil Wombat. Cecil Wombat. Cecil W. Cecil J. Wombat. And so the question here is, can you give us an update on Sigmanaut outputs in the pipeline?
Why did he have to ask that?
Well, I mean, ask him in Australian. Maybe he'll tell you. I don't know.
Turn upside down and tell him. All right, Sigmanauts. So we continue our meetings every week, every Sunday at 3 p.m. UTC. It's a fun bunch of people. Kushti shows up most of the time too, so we get some good updates from Kushti on the ecosystem there. The meeting's open to all SigCans and Sigmanauts. If you want to be a SigCan, that link is in the Sigmanauts Twitter, as well as on the Ergo main webpage. You can just Google Ergo Sigmanauts and see that there. In the pipeline, as I started a little bit from the beginning, once we get that treasury up, we are going to we're trying right now this week to develop a framework for what that treasury will pay for. And does that look like, are we paying for bounties, kind of like the Ergo Foundation does right now? Or are we doing more real-time payments as for let's say we notice somebody's been doing a ton of work and they've done a tweet and it's gotten a massive amount of attention and they put a ton of work into it. Can the SIG's treasury recognize that and say, here's a handful of ERG to recognize that you're doing a kick-ass job as a community member doing that kind of thing. Then that also goes on top of another segment of the treasury where we actually pay for marketing perhaps, or integrating into things and going from there. So right now we're really working on the framework of what this treasury is going to pay out. How's it's going to look? In the immediate, it looks like we'll have potentially some sub-wallets that have discretionary spending that we then multi-sig out to those sub-wallets for essentially a budget. So these subgroups will have budgets of what they can spend and how they can spend it, and then we'll multi-sig out once a month to those wallets, so we don't have to bug the multi-siggers every single time somebody wants to spend. So that's what the treasury looks like there. We're still doing as much community outreach as we can with the teams that we have and the people that are interested. As I said, we have Ergo Minnow, Tulo doing the booklet event. We have Erglitter, who did an amazing NFT thread recently, yesterday and today, covering a ton of NFT makers in the space and bringing that attention. What's it called? Mark Glasgow, as you know him by, is doing a regional outreach channel. So if any of you are in these communities that might be underrepresented in Ergo in different parts of the world, please join that Telegram thread. I think you can find it in the overall Ergo chat list. Hop in there and group up and talk to people and help spread the word of Ergo there. What else do we have? Austin Milbridge has made a ton of Ergo stickers with QR codes that takes us back to the main Ergo page, I believe. So I have a bunch of them. He dropped me, I don't know, maybe close to 1,000 or 2,000. So if you don't mind doxing your address or a PO box, you can send it to myself or Austin in chat, and we will send you. I know I owe 2 people stickers, so I got to get on that. We'll send you a handful of stickers that you can put up anywhere, on lampposts, on people's backs, that kind of thing, on people's luggage. Just stand at the carousel in the airport and drop them all on people's luggages. That might be a good idea. Stuff like that. So that's what's in the SIGS pipeline. We're always trying to find people that are interested in wanting to help. As everybody says, Ergo is a community-based system to where it's up to us to push this. It's up to us to move this forward. The core devs are busting ass and building apps, and community devs as well. So, this is our part to make sure that we can make sure Ergo succeeds. How was that for an answer, Daniel? He didn't hear it at all. Oh, there we go. He's muted again. You love to mute, Dan.
I am not muted. I am telepathically communicating with you. Okay, listen. And in fact, you know what? Here's something I'd ask you. And this is a question that was asked, or a request that was made. So, what is the native cryptocurrency of the Cardano blockchain?
ADA.
It's not ADA. It's ADA, man. ADA.
Oh gosh.
That was a request. That was a request. Look. Don't shoot the guy that Mappo asked me to do that. Okay, right, Mappo asked me. Okay, he asked me to regulate.
All right,
regulate.
I'll take that correction moving forward. Thanks so much. I appreciate the constructive feedback.
Sure. I hope some people are happy. But anyway, let's see. Let's get a nice question going on here. Actually, this is something interesting. I honestly, I have an idea of how it could be done, but I don't know exactly. So Amoeba asks, how does the co-op in Africa change the Sigusd into their local currency? Do you know how they do that?
I don't know. There's very few options for that. No.
Yeah, I would imagine they probably go through an exchange.
They have to Sigusd. I imagine they have to go through Ergo Dex.
Well,
how's that go?
Like a Dex. Yeah. Like they have to go through a Dex.
Yeah.
They have to go through a Dex, probably get it into Erg, and then maybe go through an exchange. That's what I would think.
I'd imagine. Yeah.
It would be nice to have other, more options, but we're working on it.
What was the reasoning of Kushti only giving? I guess you could save an exchange rate by giving giving the loans in Erg, but pegging it to a set amount. So you're saying, look, I'm paying you $1,000 at this moment in time. It happens to be 700 Erg. That's just what I'm paying you in. You don't have to return it in Erg, but you have to return it in the current dollar amount. I guess it gets a little more tricky at that point than doing a flat SigUSD, but it would save in conversion rates as far as that goes and make it a little easier just to move directly to an exchange beyond that. But yeah, I'm sure there's a reason. There's always a good reason for those kind of things.
Yeah, sometimes, Kushti has these it's very simple to him, but for us humans, it's just like, it's like that meme with the woman and the different formulas floating by her, the one that everybody likes to use, that GIF. But anyway, there's actually a question, another question for you.
I have to interrupt you. Did you just say GIF?
Yeah.
You just called it a GIF. I don't know if we can talk anymore, Dan.
What is that like?
I'm from the GIF category, the GIF group.
Look, man. Okay, Perl freaking script. Okay, Perl script. Okay, you want to show me? You want to show me some Lisp code? Should we get into some COBOL?
All right, let's do the next question.
Got him. Yeah. All right. Here's actually there's a good question for you. I guess might be butchering this, but the Stofy asks, can you explain the Sigman program a little more? Is it marketing focused?
The Sigma program is essentially focused on whatever it takes to bring Ergo mainstream and in the light of everybody. So, right now, one thing that is, hurting is marketing. So that is a big focus right now of the SIGs, but eventually it could also move to, once a treasury is up and healthy, it could move to, if there's a DApp that the system needs, then, that could possibly be funded by the Sigmanauts treasury. If there's something that needs fixing, let's say there's an EIP that pops up that the core devs are too busy for, then maybe that's something the SIGs could fund to push that forward for the betterment of the Ergo ecosystem. So yes, Sigmanauts is the betterment and bringing Ergo into, top whatever, I don't want to say a number, but one of the top projects that it deserves to be. I'm trying to keep these responses short.
Yeah, it's definitely a great way to go about it, because look, guys, we can't rely on the EF to handle everything for us. It's a community driven project, and the EF does everything they can, but like Kushti said, take as much control of the ecosystem as you want. And that's what you got to do. That's what it's really about. It's not easy. It's not easy not to have, an unlimited, enema of VC money injected into your ecosystem's bowels. But I know you like that. You're like shaking your head, don't even know what to say.
That's great. That's great.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you do AMAs with me. But anyway, it's the bottom line here is that take control of the ecosystem. Again, without trying to shill you Zengate, that was really the reason for one of the main reasons for Zengate. I saw that there was a lack of true commercial adoption for Ergo, and I wasn't going to tell somebody else to do it. I just said, I'm going to do it, and I'll do it. And I'm not saying I'm going to do it better than anybody else in the ecosystem, but I'm going to do it, and I'm going to take my skills. I'm going to take what I want to do, and I'm going to do it. And that's how, that's what Sigmanauts are about. Taking your own control of your own destiny in the ecosystem.
Yeah. So, if you want to look at it too, if you want to look at it too as working for your investment too, as a Sigmanaut. So a lot of people will, invest in a token or coin, and that's it. And then maybe jump in chat and say, when airdrops, Gaza, when? That kind of stuff. But you can also look at it as you're literally working for your investment. So you pump your bag full of ERG, and then you want that ERG to succeed. So you join the Sigmanauts, and you actually physically and electronically make that succeed, and you be part of that mission. So yeah, and as Dan was saying, the EF is doing an amazing job and has always done an amazing job. And something that you don't realize until you've joined something like the EF or the SIGs is that people always have a lot of ideas and opinions on how to fix things and how things should be, but they don't necessarily want to jump in and actually fix them, which is their prerogative, and that's fine. But you get that a lot. So just be prepared for that kind of thing if you join the Sigmanauts or if you're ever part of the EF or anything like that. So I feel for the EF for sure, putting up, with that kind of stuff for a couple of years where, you bust your hump and you bust it hard, and then somebody comes in and says, why the hell didn't you do it this way, or that kind of thing. And you're like, where were you, when we posted this and asked for suggestions and that kind of thing. So that's how community builds. That's what it's about. And you definitely get that in the crypto space more than I think any other space as far as that goes.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
It's the two sayings come to mind. Hindsight is always 20/20, because everybody in retrospect knows exactly what to do. They obviously didn't do it at that point, but in retrospect, they know what to do. And, the other one, I don't know if we're going to really go into the, too far into our rating, but you know what they say about opinions, right?
Oh, yeah. I've heard this. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like yeah. Can we say this? We can say this, can't we? That's not worse than the word shit. I don't think.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think everybody gets that. You know,
sure
they're like
it,
assholes.
Yeah.
Everyone's got one. So
yeah.
Oh
no, I was thinking,
get it, 'cause I just said it, but you know.
I was thinking of the other one, Dan. There's another saying about that. Opinions are like penises.
Well, that's the one that I know.
Don't take them out in public and don't shove them down people's throats. So.
Wow. Okay. Well, we're definitely venturing into the
there's some R-rated
danger zone.
Let's move on to the next question, Dan. Next question. If we have time.
Okay. Let's change it up for a little bit of awkward silence while I look for another question. Let's see. All right. So okay. So here's a good question. So from Eo, the question for the lender and borrower. So I'll put this one to you again, and I'll pitch it as well, obviously. So what do you reckon?
Yeah, sure. Sounds good. So let's say I take out a loan. Let's say I put up a loan offer. I'll pretend to be the borrower right now. I put up a loan offer for 1,000 SigUSD, and I put up enough collateral and interest to make it, 110% collateralized. That, remember, in Sigmify, your collateralization includes your interest. So when you're changing your interest value, your collateral value, you'll notice that actually changes your collateralization percent. Because a lot of people might not know this, but interest is collected with two opportunities. The first opportunity is when you create the loan. Interest is collected with your collateral in the collateral coin token. And then when you pay back the loan, if you choose that instead of liquidating, your interest is paid in that batch for the payback. All right. So your risks for Sigmify lending and borrowing as the borrower, and put up 1,000 SigUSD offer, have it collateralized, over collateralized, that's great. So what I can do is two things. I can sit on that SigUSD, and if the ERG price goes down, by the time my loan is up to be paid, I can essentially let my loan liquidate, and then they can have my lower priced ERG that I put on collateral, and I have my position in SigUSD that's higher, and now that can buy more ERG for me at a lower rate after the loan is over. So there's that option and risk for the borrower. You can also go the other way, where you then take that SigUSD that you've borrowed and you can immediately buy ERG at the low value it is at the time of the thing. And then ERG goes up, and you have a lot of ERG now. You have that amount of ERG that you bought back at the beginning, but the price has gone up. So you shave off some of that ERG that you've borrowed, and you buy SigUSD with it, and you pay the loan back in SigUSD. So now you have that over part there. So the risk for the borrower there, I'd say, is simply what your choice is there for whether you're going to short ERG or long ERG. There's no risk for liquidation because these bonds do not liquidate. All you have to do is make sure to either pay it back or let it liquidate at the end of the loan. Now for the borrower, it's exactly that, just in reverse. If I lend somebody SigUSD, I'm losing out. It's called opportunity cost. I'm missing out on that. If ERG price rises beyond what the interest that I'm going to get from that loan is, then I'm out, because I could have bought ERG myself at that beginning time of the loan and just ridden it out and gotten the higher price in ERG. So that's what you'll see with these 100%, with those 200% loans that were taken up. I guarantee that user is probably somehow leveraging it. They probably turned around and bought ERG, and they're waiting for that price to rise to 2 times, for ERG to 2 times or even greater. And as soon as that happens, you'll probably either see them pay back just to get out of it, if that's what they wanted to do, or they'll be even more risky and ride ERG to 3 or 4 times, shave off half of that ERG, pay them back in SigUSD with the interest, and be done with it. And now that person who loaned that SigUSD for 100% interest, that juicy interest, now lost whatever ERG has risen above that multiplier there. So there's that risk there for the borrower. Your telepathicness, Dan. I'm having trouble getting it.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you know what I just said?
I think he said, "Holy shit, Andre, that was the best explanation I've ever heard."
Did you just dox yourself?
I figured
Yeah,
you
see
knew
that.
already, so.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, yeah. And you were speaking telepathically to me right now.
I
So
was. I did.
yeah. Yeah. I know exactly what you were saying. Just I'm not gonna repeat it though. Anyway, I think you covered it pretty well. I mean, just you know, I know this is more like a bit of a more generic advice, but just you know, I mean, this is not free money and this is not a game. So just make sure that you guys understand the risks before getting into this. I mean, I know it's fun. I know you feel like you're, giving the finger to the man and you're doing your DeFi stuff, but just be careful. Be careful. There's always ways that you can get tricked if you're not careful. I mean, I'm not saying that I got tricked in DeFi, but even I've been in crypto so long. I got tricked during the bull run. I got scammed out of a couple of $1,000. And this was, and after that, I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that shit. I mean, I just kind of think, you think you're helping out a friend, but it's actually somebody who hacked their account. And yeah, so it happens to everybody. So just be careful and make sure that you understand the risks of what you're doing before you get into it.
Yeah, and if you have a friend too, just take a screenshot of your loan before you put it up there, just to make sure somebody has a second set of eyes on there, or look over it 50 times and write it down, parse it out on paper. Say, here's how much I'm asking for. Here's what I'm collateralizing. Here's the interest rate I'm doing it, and here's the time. And then hold up your handwritten thing to what they're, and just double check that, because there's nothing worse than realizing that somebody just picked up your loan and you're now screwed. There's nothing you can do. These things are immutable. They're done. It's not like you can go to the bank and say, I just screwed up. Can I have my 1 week, my 7-day back out on the loan kind of thing? This is your own responsibility. We're putting on big boy pants here. This is, you're in until the blockchain says you're not. So yeah, just make sure. I'm trying to read your lips. My telepathy's terrible today, Dan.
Yeah, it is pretty terrible. Yeah, it's just I think there's also a delay in how long it takes for this thing to unmute. I'm just trying to save you guys a bunch of toddler cryings, which are happening.
We got time for more questions?
Yeah. So let's see. All right. So. Okay, so here's actually another good question about marketing that you and I can. Oh, and by the way, we got people in the questions saying that you should be on these things more often. So I think you kind of screwed yourself there. So now you have to do them more.
No comment.
Yeah, that's right. No comment. I'll see you on the next one. Anyway, here's a question. Here's a good question, actually. So London's channel is asking, so Austin here, what do you think about getting the physical presence of Ergo out there in the way of branded merch or promotion during conventions and events? These things make the best billboards.
Yeah, I bet Austin would be in a great position to contact you and talk to you, Dan, about this kind of partnership with getting this stuff out there, especially with your presence at like these conventions and with Zengate. I think this also provides a unique opportunity to have that direct contact with his network as well as your network going out from there. I think it's a beautiful partnership in the making there, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I am going to be out there. Well, I'm going to go to the U.S. several times this year for several events. I'm going to be there for Rare Evo. I'm going to be there for an event in in Las Vegas. So it's formerly CNFT Con. Now it's NFT XLV. I think it's there's one letter that I screw up in there. It's NFT XLV, I think. So anyway, I'm going to be there for both, and yeah, we're definitely going to be doing a lot of promotion for Ergo. That's always my prerequisite for helping out with any or being involved in any event. And I definitely want to be out there more, kind of, stomping the ground for Ergo, which I already do, but I want to do more of this. And so if you also have some ideas, some resources, some things that you want to align, please reach out to me.
Yeah, and that's also too, something that the SIGs could help out with in the future as well, depending on how well we pad and get interest in the treasury and money in there. That could be something that the SIGs help in. People going to conferences, we buy high quality merch, either through Austin's connections or through Empora's or that kind of thing, and we provided it whoever's table is going to show up to that kind of thing. I know Blitz goes to events quite often as well, those kind of things. Even the individual teams that we could reach out to and dump a couple sweatshirts on their table or hats or neckties or bow ties. We should have an Ergo bow tie. I think that'd be good. Things like that.
Yeah. And we're actually, we are going to be out in those events. I got a lot of our merch already, but I will be bringing more out. And absolutely. People love it. Last year we were out at CNFT Con in Las Vegas. It was me, it was Fo, and Blitz, and Mac, and everybody had a great time. Folks sold out of all the Ergnomes stuff. He sold out. He didn't have. He had like a couple of pieces left. He did really good because people love them. It's just really cool stuff. Blitz as well was doing really good over there. People were grabbing Erg stuff left and right. And I think that's a good idea. I'm also kind of trying to engage with some more kind of cross-chain influencers right now. So we're not just kind of in our echo chamber or our bigger Cardano Ergo echo chamber, which is still kind of echoey sometimes. Oh, and that's my son running around the sound of the stomping of the feet.
Dan, have you made a wallet for your son yet?
Yeah, it's my wallet where all the spending for him comes from. It's the same wallet that is empty every month because I spend so much money on my family.
So this kind of stuff, this merch also, it's not just merch as well. There could be creative ideas as far as we hand out stickers that are paper wallets, essentially. So you could hand out promotions with paper wallets, seed phrases. People could join Ergo from that grassroots level, learn about it with that seed phrase, how to integrate that and bring that into your wallet. And it could be like an introduction NFT in that wallet waiting for them. Maybe a couple love, maybe a couple. Well, I don't know if we want to give them comment. We don't want to hurt them this early on in their endeavor. But things like that.
Listen, the best merch, actually, if you want to kind of get into what really works with crypto stuff, the best merch is the type of merch that's got call to action. So it's some sort of call to action or some sort of action needed. You do something with it. You don't just kind of, it's not just a sticker. It's not just a hat with the name. It's not just the Ergo hat. It is a wallet. It is something, it's something that you can use in the ecosystem, something that will get you inserted into it, not just like it's because, you see a lot of this stuff at these conventions. I go to a convention and I'll come back with, I think most t-shirts I have right now are crypto t-shirts because you just go to a convention, you come back with like 20 t-shirts. And some of them are actually pretty good. Some of them are crap, but some of them are pretty good. So you end up wearing all these crypto t-shirts. And it's nice, but I can't think of even one crypto t-shirt that I wear that I kind of said, oh, hey, I'm going to use their product because I got their t-shirt. So, but when I have a wallet, or when I have, say, some sort of a trial, I don't know, something for DeFi or whatever, that's something that you can use. That's something that you can attract people to actually utilize the ecosystem with. Something for GameFi, something. Where you actually have to do stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that definitely gets some help to interacting with the ecosystem. But I also agree with Austin here too that billboards are, people charge for billboard advertising for a reason, name recognition. So if Ergo is, in people's heads, they see it, they see people wearing it, it's out there, then it's there. So next time they see it on the sidebar on an internet search or coming up when they look up proof of work, they're like, oh, that looks familiar. Let me look into that more. So yeah, I think, you have benefits of both for sure. But I do, your call to action part in argument is definitely
So let me kind of put this out there. So yes, billboards are good for name recognition, but you also have to understand who you're targeting with those with something like that, and what do you expect from them. Okay, so for example, let's say we have a big billboard that says Ergo on it, right? We have it in some really public place. People say Ergo, and then what? What do you want them to do?
So in those circumstances, you can also follow up with call to actions, as in, let's say you have some signage up somewhere around that you've negotiated with at CNFT Con, where they deal in ADA, and then ADA, and then you deal with, and then you deal out, you have somebody walking around that's handing out paper wallets with these kind of things. So they connect the billboard to what you're handing out, and it's already something that they're, is in the back of their mind. So yeah, I think those blended methods also work. But yeah, I do hear where you're coming from, Dan, where those are large expenditures that may not have the kind of effect that you would get with call to action pieces. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, there has to be a point, are we, say we're out there, if there's a product, right, an Ergo product, say something really simple, like a payment rail or something, that's built on Ergo. You put that on a billboard, you advertise it to the average person that's going to look at a billboard and say, oh, I want that. That makes sense. But to kind of put us like Ergo, here, Ergo, do stuff with Ergo. Most people that look at billboards are not really going to be saying, "Oh yeah, let me go and jump right into that." It's just going to be way too general.
So what about merchandise with thought-provoking call to actions, like not your keys, not your crypto, join Ergo, or Ergo is, do you know how secure your blockchain is, ? Or things like that. So more thought-provoking visualizations there.
Thought-provoking. Yes, but again, you are. That's also pretty specific customer group right there. You're if you want to go billboard, if you want to go big and expensive, it has to be. The message has to be broad enough to be able to scoop up enough people to utilize it. They're going to say, "Oh, okay, yeah, blockchain." The average person, right? They're just going to look at it and say blockchain, okay, whatever. But if you actually have something that's more relatable to them, that's more, to me, secure blockchains, proof of work, that means a lot. But I'm not that average person that's going to look at that billboard. The average person is going to look at the billboard. All they know is Bitcoin and maybe Ethereum, and they don't even know how it works, and they probably don't even know where to buy it. So what do you advertise to people like that? So you just have to think about it. It has to be targeted. It has to have, again, to get back to that, people spend money on marketing specialists. People spend a lot of money on marketing specialists for a reason. Because if it was just as easy as putting your name on a billboard and putting it out there and having people, dig around, that would be too easy. There has to be a marketing strategy there. There has to be a, KPIs there. It's not easy. It has to be thought through. It has to be really, really assessed well. So Yeah, I hate to be a party pooper, but yeah, I always I always kind of try to break these things down. I mean, in business, you have to do that. You have to you have to think, okay, so what is the end goal? Where are we going with this? I know it looks cool. I know it would be great to have a billboard out there with my name on it, or with my company's name on it, or with the blockchain name on it. What is it going to get us realistically? Not maybe, not possibly, not like, oh, well, there's a chance that it's just going to become this huge thing. But realistically, what is it going to get us? You have to understand that before you make that expenditure, before you get into that particular thing, because if you're out there and you spend whatever $20,000-$30,000 on a billboard and $40,000 on a billboard, and then you get one person buying Erg, I mean, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's worth it. Great
wisdom from you, Dan. Appreciate it.
Oh, of course. And this time I wasn't on mute, so it wasn't telepathic.
That's great. We got time for one more question, or should we close it up? I think we're about the time.
I think this is a good place. I think this is a good place to close it up. We're at the top of the hour here. I mean, you are going to be back next week so they can ask you more questions.
No, I'm just a sub. I'm just a sub.
Anyway, yeah, guys, let's wrap it up here. But good AMA and great questions today. Really love it. So, and great having you on, Mr. Quality Extreme.
It was great to be here with you, Dan.
Anyway, thanks a lot for joining, everybody, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.